Richie, where are you? Okay. Come. I'm going to take photos. Where's the lady? Owner of Lulianos, please come with us. I forgot your name, I'm sorry. Lulu. Thank you, Lulu.
Well,
We have Billy offshore.
thank you everyone for joining us today. We're obviously here because crime continues to soar in our community, in our city, and we want to ask our leaders, particularly the governor, at what point is enough enough? What is the breaking point where you actually take action and do your job to protect the people of New York State? You know, we're standing here because once again, a business in our community was almost burglarized. Thankfully, the individual was caught. It turned out that this person is a repeat offender. He was released on parole. And it brings us back to the idea that, and the fact that our leaders continue to release dangerous people back onto our streets, and we've had enough. Now, if you look at the stats in this community of Bay Ridge, in the 68th precinct, the major felonies, crimes, have increased 23%. And that would shock a lot of people in the community, because this has always been a very safe neighborhood. But when you look at grand larceny, when you look at transit crimes, when you look at auto thefts, petty larceny, sex crimes, all up in this community within the 68th precinct. And across New York City, there have been over 100,000 individuals who have been victims of felony crimes. And as a result of 100,000 people being victims of felony crimes in our city, if you do the math, that turns out to be 1 out of 88 New Yorkers who have become the victim of a felony crime. And it's clear that it's a result of the policies put in place under one-party Democrat rule. In fact, I was talking with one of my colleagues, a state legislator, who went to the DCJS website, the Office of Court Administration, pulled stats and said 40% of those released for felony offenses have been rearrested while awaiting trial. And so you're seeing the combination of laws passed by our legislators in Albany, laws passed at City Hall that tie the hands of our police, leading to crime skyrocketing in our community. And we want to know from our legislators, when is enough enough?
It's already enough.
When are we going to take action and fix the laws that have led to these increases? I'm going to allow the individuals who own the businesses that have been under attack to do the speaking today, because I've already made my case. The facts are clear. Crime is skyrocketing across the city. 1 out of 88 New Yorkers have become victims of felony crimes. And in particular in this community, in this district, the highest increases have been transit crimes, where they have doubled over last year, and people are afraid to use mass transit. We just had how many people stabbed to death in our city on our transit system, shoved in front of a train. These are serious issues, and it's affecting people's quality of life and their ability to go about their everyday business. Sex crimes in this community, up 32%. Kathy Hochul says she cares about women. She wants to protect women. Well, what about the women that have become victims of these sex crimes here in Bay Ridge? Or the 172 women who have been raped in Brooklyn South? Where's the concern for them? So I'm going to turn it over to first two of the candidates who are running alongside me who want to go to Albany and fix these laws, and then we'll hear from two of our business owners. First, I'll turn it over to Brian Fox. running for state senate.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you everybody for joining us. You know, we're at a crucial moment in time, and it's I can't tell you how frustrating it is, being that again, my running for city council formerly, crime was definitely on the uptrend, and now we're at a point where we are literally under attack, and crime is on the rise. Violent assaults. And our stores, our businesses, our bar owners are all under attack. And this is just another, a very unfortunate example of what we can't continue to have happen in our community. What's going on is quite simple. We have candidates, we have elected officials, progressive elected officials, who are frankly way too soft on crime, and they historically have been. We need to continue, thank you. We need to continue to have people like Nicole and re-elect people like Nicole, who we know are going to be tough on crime. Continue to have individuals like myself run, Alec, Brook-Krasny, who's going to talk in a moment, who are law and order candidates and will continue to be tough on crime. This is a prime example of what we need to do, not just as a community, as a city, and throughout New York State. We need change, fundamental change, and the fundamentals is what's been neglected, frankly. We need to bring back law and order into our community. We need to bring back sanity into our community. And the only way we're going to do that is if we elect law and order candidates like myself, Alec Brook-Krasny, and make sure that Nicole is reelected. I'll leave it with this before passing it off to Alec. Again, I live about 500 feet away from this location, so obviously it's quite literally this crime ended up on my doorstep. I will ensure, regardless of party affiliation, my job once in Albany is to make sure that everybody in my community is safe and that everybody in my community is protected. Our stores, our business owners can thrive, and I will continue to do that once elected moving into Albany. Thank you so much.
Look, I think we have a lot of Democrats, Republicans, Independents here, and the consensus is people want to see a balance, right? It doesn't matter what your party affiliation is. You recognize that under one-party Democrat rule, the pendulum has gone too far to the left, and you want to restore a balance. In fact, one of my former colleagues, who I served with in the New York State Assembly, was a Democrat. He has now switched parties to a Republican, and he's running to regain his seat. And I'd like to introduce Alec Brook-Krasny.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. Thank you for getting us all together. Brian, thank you. About 2009, I've been speaking on the floor of New York State Assembly, and we have a reporter from Albany here, Mark Kronich, who would remember that. When the Senate was about to turn into the Democratic Senate, I've been saying, as a Democrat on the floor of the Assembly, that one-party ruling is very, very bad. At that time, I was one of the very few people who's been living half of my life under one-party ruling. And because of one-party ruling, that country called Soviet Union, thank God, not in existence anymore. So now, you all living under one-party ruling. That means no common sense. That means no political compromise. That means no political conversation at all. You know, when you're a candidate or when you're an elected official, you're talking to a lot of people. And many people are asking me, Alec, why? Why crime is going up? Why criminals is doing what they're doing? You know why? Because they can. They can. Under this leadership in New York State, they can. And this is our huge problem. And look at the common sense of what they're doing. Look at the sense of what they're doing, rather. On one side, you have a cashless bail. What is cashless bail? More criminals on the street. On the other side, they're saying defund the police. What defund the police means? Defund the police means less number of police officers on the street. So just look at it. More criminals on the street, less number of police officers. What do you expect, ladies and gentlemen? What do you expect? We have an ammunition. We all have an ammunition. And the ammunition for American citizens is a vote. On November 8th, we're going to change everything. In New York State, we'll get a Republican governor again. And that means that people in New York State finally will have a chance to live normally, like Bay Ridge used to live. I have two kids. Two of my kids, they're living in Bay Ridge. The Bay Ridge still is one of the best neighborhoods in New York City. But look what's happening in one of the best neighborhoods. What do you say about the worst? In Bay Ridge, yesterday, my own son, at 2 o'clock in the morning, became a witness to the robbery attempt in the supermarket, 71st and 3rd. When he told me about this morning, I start shaking. Because all the time, the guy was holding his hand in the pocket. And God knows what he had in the pocket against my son. Ladies and gentlemen, please, remember one thing. Remember in November. On November 8th, we're going to get a proper leadership. And believe me, this country is still a beacon for the whole world. This city is still a beacon for the whole world. This state is still a beacon for the whole world. Everybody wants to come here and live here. But we have a wrong leadership, and we have to do something about it. And what we're going to do on November 8th, we're going to fire them all. Thank you very much.
You know, last night, the 68th Precinct Community Council had their monthly meeting. And during that meeting, the residents expressed such outrage over the number of times we're seeing repeat offenders being released back onto the street because of the cash bail law that they threw out the window. In fact, the record holder, I believe, according to my tracking, 108 arrests. 108 arrests. Why would our governor and our legislative leaders allow somebody like that to be back on the streets? How many more businesses, how many more victims before this guy goes to jail? Now, as a federal representative, I've introduced legislation that will require states to allow judges to use discretion to set bail considered dangerousness. That is something that New York's law does not allow, one of the few states that do that. But that's what I could do on the federal level, and as you can see from my colleagues here running for state office, they're set, and their intention is to repeal the bail law. And we will only do it if we change our leadership in this state, because our governor and the elected officials that represent this community and the control of the state legislature have said clearly, they've said straight out, they will not fix the bail law. They have no intention of doing it. So to re-elect them would only continue this crime soaring that we're seeing across our city. I want to introduce one of the business owners to speak today about her experience, Lulu, who owns Luciano's.
Yes, hello everyone.
Lulu, can you give us your full name, please?
Lulu Hawkeye.
Spell your last name.
Hawkeye.
Oh, just like Nash.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm the owner of Lulianos, and this is not the first time that we actually got broken into. It happened once before 2 years ago. And I just want to say that I'm thankful for the alarms, or else these guys wouldn't have got caught. And I recommend that all business owners get alarms. And you know, it is scary leaving home at night knowing that there may be robbers on the street, and change is needed, like Brian Fox said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Billy, Offshore Diner.
Hi everyone, thank you. My name is Billy Grillis, Grillas. I'm the owner of Offshore Diner right next door. Lulu's my neighbor, literally. And when I was asked to speak here, I actually ran over here because this is important to me. This is something that we as people have power over. Some things we're powerless over, what's going on in the world. But to keep our neighborhoods safe, our parents, our friends, our customers, it's very important to me. This is hitting very close to my house. I live down a block from Brian Fox, and my store is right here. And you know, this is affecting everybody. Don't care what party you're in. I'm surprised this whole block is not filled with people because this is Bay Ridge. We're known for our safety. People pay a lot of money to live here, and it's going down the drain. And I have to blame the party or the people that put these policies in order. They want to defund police. Me personally, I say let's pay them double. Let's put them on there. You know, raise our taxes, but let's put the police back on there because this is number one priority to me is my safety for myself, my family, my community. And if, you know, November comes, we have to vote properly. Let's take our city back as a people and as a party because this is not good. I see crimes in the street myself. But I can't, I'm too scared to do something because look, I'm scared to get arrested, you know? You know, let's get these criminals off the street. Let's get these drugs off the street because these people are not robbing stores to pay their mortgage or to buy shoes, you know, they're getting high, plain and simple. So we got to get the drugs off the street and get these animals off the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Bully. Thank you, Bully.
So my name is Ted Gore. I'm the Republican Party chairman for Kings County. We have Fran Villa-Maroon, the Conservative Party chairwoman of the Conservative Party in Brooklyn. And we really want to thank the media here, all the constituents here, business owners, private citizens. As everybody said, we just simply need change. We need real positive change, not just here in Bay Ridge, but all around the borough, all around the city and the state. It's obvious to everybody who's willing to be sane and civil and have a discussion that things are clearly going in the wrong direction. So we have a great slate of candidates. I will be a little partisan because that is my role. However, I'm the father of 4 kids. I'm a husband. I'm a neighbor. I've been living here and grew up in this neighborhood most of my life. And I'm still here. And we just, not just this neighborhood, but the whole borough. Too many things are going in the wrong direction. We need to stand together as New Yorkers, as Americans, and actually come together on things we agree on, regardless of party, regardless of affiliation and beliefs. We're not all going to agree on every issue. However, we can all agree crime is rising, inflation's through the roof, a whole host of issues. Businesses are struggling for a variety of reasons, and the leadership in Albany and in New York City and sometimes in Washington are just not doing the right thing by everybody. They're more concerned about, you know, party politics and things of that nature. And honestly, at this point, we really have to vote to save ourselves. All right, and please vote common sense. I'm going to ask that you vote down the Republican line or the conservative line, whatever you feel. But our candidates are coming to the table not as politicians, but as private citizens, as business people who are really trying to make a change. And we appreciate them stepping up, and we appreciate all of you being here to cover this. So thank you. Oh, vote Lee Zeldin, top of the ticket down. Thank you.
Get black and honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna just add to this. I know that I don't want to be repetitive. I'm also the president of the Dyker Heights Civic Association, so I wear 2 hats. I wear my political hat as the chairwoman of the Brooklyn Conservative Party and president of the Dyker Heights Civic Association. So I'm not only speaking here as a political leader, but as a community leader and as somebody that lives in this community and has seen the change over the past year or so with these new bail laws and the defunding of the police talk and so on and so forth. Primary responsibility of government is the safety of its people, and this government has failed at that. So what we need to do is make sure that we elect people that represent us, that serve our interests, and serve the interests of the people at large. And that means keeping us safe, keeping it so that we have a livable community, keeping our taxes low so that we can afford to live here, so that our businesses can thrive. That's what we need. We need change. We need to take back our city. We need to take back our state. Thank you so much.
All right, I will take some questions if we could try to keep it on topic.
Question. What was it about with Tolson turning off the cameras last night of this meeting? Do you know what happened there?
I don't know about that.
Somebody got on his nerves and he turned it off.
I guess so.
Congresswoman,
Can we take from the press?
I wanted to ask
Yes.
you a question about cashless bail. That seems to be a state issue, not a federal issue. A lot of people running for Congress on the Republican ticket are using cashless bail in their campaign. But is there anything that can be done on the federal level? Or
Sure. Well, look.
why is
First
this
of all,
getting
we need every elected official, city, state, federal level, to be speaking out against this ridiculous bail law that has made people less safe. I'm a representative of my community. My community is suffering from crime as a result of this law, so I'm going to speak out against it. However, there is something I can do, and I am doing on the federal level. As I indicated, I've introduced legislation that would require states to allow for judges to use their judicial discretion to consider dangerousness to set bail. That is one of the things that New York's law does not allow for, and if Kathy Hochul ain't going to do it, I'm going to try to do it from the federal level. So that's what I've done to introduce, and I do believe that that bill can very well pass the House should we take back the House, Republican majority, come January.
Thank you.
Other questions, sir? Yes, sir.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Our elderly's
Where are you
being...
from?
I'm independent, Leroy Press and Viral News, NYC. Our elderly's being attacked daily. I get emails all day long from NYPD. Elderly's being attacked, everybody's being stabbed. Do you have any plans to protect our elderly?
Yeah, it's so incredibly heartbreaking to see that our vulnerable are being targeted this way. So I think, look, whether you're a child, whether you're a middle-aged individual or an elderly person, you're still affected by crime the same way. I think it's disgusting that people in the community would target our elderly people. We have to get back to the basics of civil society, okay? Teaching our children to respect our elders. What happened to that? In my generation, I mean, my God, you would never disrespect or attack an elderly person. But nobody of any age should become a victim of crime. So when I speak out against crime, when I speak for common sense policies to restore public safety, it's for everybody of every age group.
Nicole, can I make one suggestion here? Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Thomas McGovern.
Could you just go to the
sign down. Put the sign down so they can see your face.
Sure.
And I need your name and official title.
Sure. My name is Thomas McGovern, McGovern. Okay, my wife just joined the Max to work out. She's 60 years old. She was on her way over. She was walking along 5th Avenue and 85th Street, between 85th and 86th. They're riding these motorbikes on the sidewalks. And the guy ran up her leg. And she turned around and she got into a heavy argument with him. And he got off the bike and he wanted to fight her. And she was like, you know, she said, okay, let's go. You know, and then a lady was filming it. And, you know, now she will not go to the Max. She paid $2,000. She's scared. She wanted me to walk her every night. I'm retired from the railroad. My grandson's a police officer. I think the police officers need a good raise. They're the biggest police department in the country, and they're not, and they're doing doubles. They're overworking them. You know, and like I said, the motorbikes on the sidewalks going the wrong way, just cutting red lights. It's outrageous, you know. So let's hope we can get these guys in office.
Tommy, thank you.
All right, to conclude, Alec would like to answer one of the questions.
Just your answer. I mean your question about the seniors. When I was an assemblyman, I introduced a bill that would become a law, increasing punishment for the criminals who are attacking senior citizens. And there is a law about that. But what's happening now, you really cannot bring, sometimes, you cannot bring a criminal to the due process. So that law is useless to some sense right now. To that degree, we have a lack of common sense. That's all I wanted to add, Nicole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Paul.